So we are going live. I have over $2 million invested into the market, but it didn't always start out that way. In today's video, I am going to teach you how to invest in the stock market, but for a beginner. If you're new to the channel, thank you for being here. My name is Jamil Frazier. I am the founder of Think Life is Different, and I help you scale your business and scale your wealth. So let's talk about it. I've been investing into the stock market for the last 10 years. I started investing actually the last 10 years. I started investing in 2015. And when I started investing, I actually thought that real estate was going to be the vehicle to where I built my wealth. Now, I do still invest in real estate, but I'll take you through the progression of my investing history. But first, let's jump into how did I even start investing into the stock market? I used to work for a company called Johnson and Johnson in pharmaceutical sales. I was a pharmaceutical sales rep. And probably like most of you guys, when you have friends or people around you that are really excited about something, whether that be a movie, cryptocurrency, a freaking girl, right? Like the new neighbor that moved in down the street. It could be a new event that's coming up. It could be a band that's coming into town. But your friends get excited about stuff, which gets you excited about stuff, and then you go and do the thing. So I was in working in pharmaceutical sales, and there was another sales rep. His name was Steve. I'll never forget it. I remember it like it was yesterday. But Steve met me in the office early one morning, and he was like, "Bro, my sister works at a company that I got some inside track that this company is about to blow up. They just went public. They're trading their stock on the stock market. You got to get in early because it's going to go crazy." Now, remember, I was a sales rep and I work with other sales reps. So you can imagine how good Steve was at selling. So when his energy hit me that day, I was already at a place to where I was making okay money, but I wanted to figure out how to get to the other side. And a lot of you are watching this video right now because you're trying to figure out, like, how do I get to the other side? How do I start scaling my wealth? How do I start to have money really work for me? How do I get out of this rat race? How do I get myself into retirement to where I'm not struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, having no margin, stressed out? I want financial freedom. You want all those things just like I wanted all those things. So Steve tells me, he goes, "Okay, here's the deal. There's this company called AAPT, and it was a company called All American Pet Company. And I think the stock was trading for about 2 or 3 cents. Essentially, it was a penny stock. I didn't know this. Only thing I knew, I never invested before. I didn't have any, I wasn't investing in any investing platforms. I had no idea how to do this at all. And so I was like, "Steve, I'm all in. What do I need to do?" And he says, "All you got to do is just download this app called Scott Trade." At the time, it was called Scott Trade, which I think eventually turned into Ameritrade. And now I think that's been bought out by a company called Charles Schwab, which I'll talk about in a second. But he says, all you got to do, download this app and go find this company, put in this company ticker, AAPT, and then transfer some money over from your bank account into this app and then invest that money into the company. So that's what I did. Well, about a month later, the company completely went under. It didn't make it. I think I invested a couple $100 or whatever, and my money was gone. And when I think about that story and why I'm telling you that story is because I remember being so happy. Like, listen to my words. You're like, "Bro, what are you talking about?" I'm nervous about investing because I think I'm actually going to lose my money. Anybody out there that you're fearful that if you make the wrong investment, you're going to lose. That means you're going to be a failure. You're never going to be able to get that money back. Like, these are just common, normal things. But I was excited. And the reason why, when I look back on it, the reason why I was excited is because I did the thing. You know what I mean? Like, I did it. I took the leap. I took a little bit of my money and I put it into the stock market. I had never done it before. I'm 43 years old now. So I was 33 years old and I never made an investment before at 33 years old. And primarily, I never did it before because one, I felt like I didn't know how to do it. And two, I was scared to do it. Are any of you guys out there that feel the same? So I just want to encourage you. I felt happy because I start to realize that I broke through the barrier. Like, I did the thing. I lost the money, but at least I took the first step. And here's what I want to encourage you on. You never lose unless you don't learn. Write that down. You're never going to lose if you learn the lessons that come with it. So, one thing that I learned is don't freaking take advice from Steves of the world. Right? Like, if there's somebody that's coming up to you and they're like, "Hey, if you invest some money into this stock, you're gonna become a millionaire tomorrow." Run away as fast as you can. Do not listen to the Steves of this world. How have I gone from $0 invested into the stock market to now multiple millions of dollars? Is the best thing that you can do is to take your time. The best thing you got going for you, write this down, is time. Time that your money is in the market. So I learned right away, don't listen to Steve's. Number two is I learned, there's got to be a different way. Like, I didn't even do any research about this company. I didn't even know who the founder of the company was. I didn't even know what year the company started. I didn't know what the company's performance was before I actually invested in them. All I did was went off of the energy of somebody that said, this company is about to blow up. You got to invest your money. And so what I took from that was maybe I should take some time and do a little bit of research instead of just reacting to emotions. And the third thing that I took away from it was, and this is what I really want to impress upon you, is there was a level of fear that was holding me back that I didn't even realize was holding me back. And the third takeaway that I got from it was now that I had tasted it, now that I actually invested some money, now that I lost some money, and now that I realized even though I was afraid, I could still push through and break through. So you never lose unless you lose, right? Write that down. You never lose unless you lose. So today, a student of mine asked me, how do I buy stocks? How do I do it? And that's why you're watching this video because you want to know, well, how do I do it? And before I tell you the how, which I am going to tell you, I just want to impress upon you that the how is always easy and it's not going to be about the how. The how is easy to everything. How I really started making some money was I built a health and wellness company. And I worked and trained and mentored and coached thousands of entrepreneurs on how to build a health and wellness business. And I coached thousands of clients on how to lose weight and get healthier. I mean, tens of thousands. This organization has impacted over 300,000 people. So you can imagine how many people I worked with. And there are, just think about it, how many different weight loss companies are out there? Would you imagine? Right? Would you say like over 1,000, over 15,000? There's a lot of them. How many different diets are out there? The mechanisms of losing weight, how do you lose weight, is pretty darn simple, wouldn't you say? If it's pretty simple, why are there so many different diets? Why are there so many different companies? And why are we looking for so many different ways to get weight off if the mechanisms are pretty simple? The reason why we do it is because it's not about the how. Write this down. Because I think a lot of times we come to videos like this or we start to look for the breakthroughs, which requires us to have breakups with things in our lives that are not serving us. But I think we ask the wrong questions a lot of the times. And the question that I want to turn around on you is not how do I invest in the stock market, but to get really connected to why do you want to invest in the market? Because the why is going to be the thing that drives everything. Just think about it. When I made that first investment into All American Pet Company, I lost on paper, but I won in life. So why did I get back out there and start investing even more? That's what we got to get after, because the how to do it was pretty simple. Took 5 minutes to do it. But why would I get back up? Why would I take my hard-earned money and invest it again? Why would I take the risk? Why would I go back in? Why would I endure volatility? Why would I like have to endure maybe some friends that didn't understand? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you going to keep going and have your own journey from zero to a handful of million? Why are you going to do that? Because if you're not in touch with that, it doesn't matter. The how, write this down. The how does not matter if you are unattached with your why. If you're not connected to it, if you don't care about it, if you don't even know what it is, then it's not going to matter. Like, how you technically do it isn't going to matter, just like how I would help my clients technically tell them how to lose weight. I could tell them how to lose weight a million times in a million different ways, which requires the same technical skills. But why would they fall off all the time? Or why wouldn't they get started? Or why wouldn't they even make the investment? Or why would they only last a week or 2 weeks? Because they didn't have a strong fundamental how or why, right? That's why it would happen. So I just want to turn that around and really talk about the why. Why are you going to do this? So before we actually jump in, because the how is pretty simple and pretty easy, but I want to give you some things to consider even before you invest, which I wish I would have done before Steve came to me. I got so excited that day, transferred some money over from my Chase account into this, like brokerage account on my phone. I wish I would have done some of these things. So I want to give them to you. There's about 6 things that I would encourage you to do before we actually start investing. The first thing is really find out what is your goal. What do you want to do? And it goes back to what I was talking about, which is the why. Like, why do you want to do this? What's your goal? How many assets do you want to have under management? Like, how much money do you want to invest? Like, do you have sort of a number that you want to go off of? Is this because you want to have a better retirement? Is this because you're chasing financial freedom? Is it because you're chasing freedom to begin with? Is it because you want to have another stream of income? Like, really get clear on what your goal is. Number two is, what's your plan? Like, what's your plan going to be? When I started, I had no plan. Steve was like, invest into this company. I was like, cool, let's invest into it. But I had no strategic plan. I didn't know how much money I would be putting aside every single month so I can invest. I didn't know how to cut back on my expenses so that I had more to invest. I didn't have a plan on how I was going to scale my income so that I can invest more into the market. I didn't have any type of plan. I was just going off of hype and hopium, right? Keeping my fingers crossed that, dang, if I put some money into the stock market, maybe I get some money out. I had no plan for even what type of stocks I wanted to invest in, or did I want to invest into mutual funds, or did I want to invest into ETFs? Did I want to invest in individual stocks? Did I want to invest into a basket of stocks? I had no plan. I just did the thing. So I want to encourage you to, number two, get a plan. Number three, what are you investing for? And I think that's important, because what you're investing for is going to come down to how you're going to start to invest. I have 4 kids now. So part of my investing strategy is a little bit different, because part of my investing dollars is going towards these kids to help them with school to help them with their future, getting prepared for maybe they decide to get married down the way. So, what are you investing for? And that is going to determine what you start to invest in. Number four, I would encourage you to figure out what type of risk you can take. Okay, I think a funny story is I've been married now for 15 years, and I think my wife is so tired of me. Fellas, any of you guys out there, ladies, is your man, your husband just tired of you sometimes? And the reason why I say that is because I can endure a lot of volatility. My life is crazy, right? I run 2 different businesses. I have 4 kids. We own millions in real estate. I have millions in the stock market. We invest in startup companies as angel investors. I have multiple different teams, and I take a lot of risk because I fundamentally love big rewards. So you need to figure out what type of risk sort of management you could take. Now, my wife, on the other hand, hates risk. She likes things to be nice and comfortable and right here in this box. And, even where we live, she wants to live in the same house for like her whole life. That would drive me crazy. I gotta be free. I gotta move. I'm like a nomad. I gotta go. I gotta stir things up. I like to watch stuff go up and go down. Like for her to invest and see a freaking company go up like this and then go all the way down like that, it would drive her crazy. That's just a different day for me. So you got to take into consideration, what is your risk tolerance? How do you like to live life? Like, do you like for things just to be nice and cozy and warm? And oh my God, Jamil, feels like a jacuzzi experience. Or do you like to live a little bit? Like, can you walk on the wild side a little bit? So just take an inventory of what your risk tolerance is, because that's going to determine how you invest as well. Number five, do you want to invest for short term or long term? I usually make long term investments. I've been trained to think 10 years in advance. But a lot of people do make investments for short-term gain. I buy and hold almost everything. All the real estate we own, I buy it and I hold it. I hold on to it because I like the rental checks to come in. All of the stocks that I buy them and I hold them for a long time. But some people like to buy something, try to get a return off of it really quickly, and then sell it, right? So just I encourage you to figure out, do you want to be a long term investor or do you want to invest for the short term? I would encourage you to do what I do and to buy and hold, but you make that decision yourself. And number six is to determine how you like your money. Or do you want something called cash flow? Or do you want something that's just going to appreciate in value? Or do you want a mixture of the both? Right? Because that's going to determine how you actually go about investing as well. I love to invest in stocks that pay what they call dividends. Basically, it's a little rental payment, but not all companies pay dividends, right? They don't all give you that cash flow. So, a company like Tesla, for example, they do not pay dividends, but a company like Coca-Cola does pay dividends. So just consider, do you want little rental checks or do you want to invest with the hopes that that company goes up in value? Or are you going to look for a company that does both? Okay, so some of those things I would consider. How do you actually invest is pretty simple. Number one, make the decision that you are going to be an investor. Like, okay, Jamil, I've been watching your videos. I love what you guys do. I'm even considering possibly being a student of yours, but I am going to do this investing thing. Let's go. Okay. Now I've made the decision. Number two is open up your phone and then look for different brokerage accounts that you want to invest in. Okay, what does that mean? That means that there's different platforms that you can download the app on your phone and start to go invest on those platforms. So when you look at my phone, basically, I love a platform called Vanguard. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a little red thing there. You see that V? I love Vanguard, but honestly, there's a whole bunch of them. So there's Vanguard, there's Charles Schwab, there's Fidelity. A lot of young people like Robinhood because of its technology. You have SoFi. You have Acorn is another one. So those are all apps. These are all brokerage accounts that you can open up from these different apps to where you can make your investments. Okay. Next, you want to determine how much money you want to invest. Okay. Is it going to be $50, $100, $500, $1,000? You make that determination and then start investing it. Next, you want to move your money from wherever you hold your money, and you want to now move that money into this new platform that you're going to invest in. And then after that, simply find the stock that you want to invest in. Are you going to invest in individual stocks? Awesome. Then do that, whether that's Tesla or Microsoft and Nvidia or you know, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, whatever, like you determine that, or maybe you want to invest in a suite of stocks like the S&P 500 to where you're investing into a basket of 500 or more stocks, but you make that determination and then just determine what sector you want to invest in, right? Do you want to invest in technology? Do you want to invest in finance? Do you want to invest in, so just determine what sector. Now, I promise you I was going to tell you what my own personal plan is. If I could go back and do it all over again, I would actually pause on what Steve told me and I would figure out what my own personal plan is. So I want to break it down for you really fast so that you have it. So, what I started to learn was I should crawl before I walk, before I run, before I fly. Let me say this again. I should crawl before I walk, before I start running, before I friggin' start flying, right? And so I have three plans that I still operate off of and that I started to implement back in the early days. So I just want to go through the plans. The first plan is a plan to be safe and a plan to be secure. Write that down. This is your plan to be safe and a plan to be secure. What I've learned is once you have security, then it's easy to start to build upon that. But one of the first things that we need as human beings is security to know that even if everything just crumbled around me, I'll still be okay. And so, in your financial plan, you want to establish that safe and secure plan first. Next, after you establish that plan, you want to establish the second plan, which is a plan to be comfortable. Now that my family is safe, now that I'm safe, now that I've built my financial walls and I know that I'm going to be all right, now I want to move into a plan to start to be comfortable. Maybe now I start to think about investing into real estate. Maybe now I start thinking about investing into the stock market. Maybe now I start thinking about buying my first home or my first piece of rental property. But this is a plan to be comfortable now. I want to live a comfortable lifestyle. And then that last plan is the plan to build generational wealth. And this was a plan that I was always focused on because if you've watched my material or kind of been through my financial videos and business building videos, then you know that I'm extremely financially insecure, even though I have financial security. And I'm financially insecure because I grew up on welfare for over 20 years. So if you grew up the way that I did, really just kind of waiting for when is the next piece of money going to come in, then one of my passions was when I talked to you about, I said, you got to decide what you want. I decided about 10 years ago that I wanted the Fraser last name to mean something, and I wanted to build generational wealth, and I wanted to leave something for my kids. Why? because in my family, I've never known anyone to leave anything to anybody. And so I wanted to change the game. And if you read my books, and I always talk about being a chain breaker. So, anyhow, a plan to be safe and secure, a plan to be comfortable, and then a plan to build generational wealth so that, the Bible says a good man, a good person leaves an inheritance for their kids. So, so determine what your plan is. So, how do I invest for a beginner? I hope that today's video brought you value. I hope that you feel confident and comfortable. And I really want to encourage you, do not be scared. We never lose unless we fail to learn. Okay. So after I lost that first investment, I got right back in there and I made my next investment, and I still hold that company. Okay, this was freaking 11 years ago, and I'm still invested into that company. So do not be afraid. Do not be alarmed. Have fun. Make your first investment and drop in the comments where you plan to make your first investment. And if there's any way that I can help you and support you, I will. Have an amazing day. Please like and subscribe to my channel and share this information with people that you love. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care, everyone.